Hello, welcome to section 12.6. Today what we're going to be working on is adding and subtracting rational expressions. This is 12.5 extension answers, so this may or may not pertain to you guys. Sometimes I do this lesson. It's called dividing complex fractions. It's dividing fractions within fractions. So anyway, let's get into 12.6, day 1 today. We're going to start off a little more simple today, and then tomorrow we'll get into a few more complicated problems. So if you're adding and subtracting fractions, you need to have a common denominator. And once you have a common denominator, then what you're going to do is just add the numerators. I mean, it's kind of like the classic pizza example. If I have a pizza, and let's say that, I eat usually pizza. I don't know why it's been anything. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. Alright. Okay, let's say I got pizza, and you got 8 equal slices, and let's say I eat 2 slices, and let's say that you eat 3 slices. Together, we've eaten 5/8. So if I eat 2/8 and you eat 3/8, then together we eat 5/8. So, yeah, we're gonna be doing things like this here. They're rational expressions, and we're gonna add them together. Today, the numerators are all gonna be the same. It's really nice and short and simple. So if the the denominators are the same. So the denominator stays the same. 5 plus 7 is 12, and then reduce 12 divided by 3. Always reduce if possible. There you go. And then this one here, when you're subtracting, what you want to be careful with, you want to put parentheses around here, and you want to do 3x, take away x, take away 5. You want to distribute this negative sign there. So be careful with the subtraction problems. So it becomes 3x take away x is 2x minus 5 over x minus 1. That does not simplify any further. And then similarly down here, 4x plus 1, take away 2x, add the 3 because you're going to distribute there and there. And that's going to leave you 2x plus 4 divided by 2x minus 1. That doesn't, actually, no, that doesn't simplify. You could factor out the 2 onto the numerator, and you'd end up with 2x plus 2, but that doesn't reduce with the bottom at all. So this would be fine for your answer. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to move into the skill that we're going to work on tomorrow, and you need this skill for tomorrow. And so since the first part of the lesson is so simple, I want to teach this skill here on how to find the LCD, the least common denominator, in the case where the denominators aren't the same. You're going to convert them, just as if you normally were adding, subtracting fractions, you have to convert them so they have the same denominator, or you can add them. So what you're going to do is you're just going to look at the denominators, 4r. You're going to break this up into 2 times 2 times r. You're going to just basically put it in complete factored form. 10r squared is 2 times 5 times r times r. Then what I want you to do is circle anything in common. So you have a 2 in common, and you have an r in common. You're going to write those out once, 2r. Then you're going to write down every other factor that's not in common. So 2 times 5 times r. What this does for us is this makes sure you have the least common denominator. And so you have 2 times 2 is 4, times 5 is 20, and then you have r squared. So that would be your least common number. It means 4r goes into 20r squared, 10r goes into 20r squared. Alright, this one here, so we have the x minus 3 squared. So that's x minus 3 times x minus 3, if I put it into factored form. And then you have x squared minus x minus 6. That's x minus 3, x plus 2. And again, you're going to circle the common factors. So you have an x minus 3 and x minus 3. You're going to write that down once. You have x minus 3. And then you write down what's left over. You have an x minus 3 and an x plus 2. And then one more. C minus 2 is just c minus 2. And 2c plus 7 is just 2c plus 7. Neither of those factors. So your LCD is c minus 2 times 2c plus 7. Alright, I'm going to do a couple more of these just because these are a little more complex. 28m breaks up into 4 times 7, which is 2 times 2 times 7 times m, and then 7m, m, and m. So they share 7 in common, 7 and an m. Okay, so we have 7m in common, and then we have 2 times 2 is just 4, and then m squared. So altogether it's 28m to the third. Both 28m and 7m cubed will go into 28m cubed evenly. Alright, this first one here, I'm going to go x plus 5, x minus 1. And this second one here, I'm going to go x plus 5, x plus 2, if I factor those. So circle the common ones, you have an x plus 5 in common. And then what's left over is x minus 1, x plus 2. And the last one, there's nothing to factor in the a plus 3. There's nothing to factor in the a minus 4. So your LCD is a plus 3 times a minus 4. Alright, there's your assignment. Thanks guys for tuning in, and I'll see you for day 2.